Another great video, Betty.
Thank you.
What an awesome weekend.
Hello and welcome back to The Journey, the human experience to spiritual enlightenment. I am Betty Cody.
I am Sean Cody.
And we are here to talk about our exploration and experience
Spiritus.
of Spiritus. And the facilitator for this event, his name is Tim Morrison, and he is from Australia. And this just happened to be his very first date that we were able to attend in Miami.
First United States show.
Yep, of his North American tour. This is pretty interesting. There was a ceremony, not a ceremony, I guess a class, a session modality for breathwork.
Mm-hmm.
And for you guys that are not familiar with what breathwork means, it refers to a variety of techniques that involve conscious control of breathing patterns to improve your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. These practices aim to enhance self-awareness, reduce stress, and promote healing by altering the way the person breathes. Breathwork can include methods like deep breathing, controlled exhalations, and specific rhythmic patterns designed to increase oxygen intake and release stored tension, and to bring out a relaxed or meditative state. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and we've done a few different breathwork classes in our journey this year, and this one was completely different than them all. I mean, first of all, it was 3 hours long, which was quite something. Which it went by really, really fast, so that was nice. But it was different than anything else we've done so far too. So I think that's one of the reasons we kind of went and had a good time and enjoyed it and wanted to make sure it was part of this experience for us.
Absolutely. So let's talk about a little bit about our experience. First of all, I'm going to talk about the venue and the ambiance that was created.
Mm-hmm.
By the outside, you wouldn't imagine what was on the inside of that building.
No, not at all.
Because the outside looked like a old garage that they had turned into, like something like that. And then when you walked in, it was kind of like a warehouse.
Yeah.
But they had projectors reflecting
everywhere,
all over. I mean, ceilings, the walls, everything. And they had these very like hippie, vibey, spiritual colors and different patterns that would kind of emerge and contract. And so the minute that you walked in, you're like, wow, this is not just a warehouse. Like, this is like cool. Like, this is very like inviting. There was a stage where Tim Morrison, the person that was
right in the middle of all the big projector area where everything was it was huge. The projector was displaying probably, 40 by 40 foot screens, and it wrapped around the corners of the wall, and it wrapped on the floor. They had actually white green screen material lined up to smooth it all out, so there wasn't actually corners in the walls or anything. So it just kind of looked like almost like a cove or like a tunnel with the lights projecting.
Like we were in a womb of some sort. Like I felt like I was in Genie's bottle. Like, right. So I'm like, remember I Dream of Genie?
Yeah.
Kind of like that. But he's in the stage, and then he's got, I don't know how many instruments he has on that stage.
I started to count at one point a little bit, and then I came to a box that looked like it had maybe 15, 20 some harmonicas or something in it, and then that was it at that point. So I would estimate he had at least 50 different types of instruments, from guitars to flutes to I think he had a little keyboard or something at the time, and he had all kinds of electronics there, so he could play one and set it on loop while he picked up another to play the other one along with that. And there were horns. He had different kinds of horns that were 30 and 40 feet long. And what is it you were calling them?
Diggeradoo.
Yeah.
They're Australian.
Yeah, so he had a lot of stuff, and he was very skilled at all of them. I mean, everything that I heard him play sounded pretty
a lot
good.
Of those instruments were very like indigenous type of instruments, so they had like a spiritual sound to them.
Yeah, and to be focused enough to be playing them and to press buttons to record it while you're playing it, and hit another button to make it loop, and then pick up the next one and play along with it, and
then guide the meditation.
Holy cow! And while he's guiding the meditation,
so it was very interesting.
And a breathwork class at that,
Yeah. How many people would you say were there?
Somewhere between 100 and 120.
That's a lot of people.
Pretty easily. Because I counted. We were about 10 across, and there was about 10 to 12 along the side wall. So
yeah, and with all the people that were there was a collective energy of everybody wanting to heal and be there, like in the sense, because even at one point he says, turn around and say hello to your neighbor. If you haven't met the person across from you or behind you, say hello. So he was trying to form that.
He said it in a weird way too, though. I forget what it was. It was like, and give good tidings or something.
Yeah.
Something that was more than just say hello to your neighbor.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
And then at one point, too, in the middle of the meditation, when we're saying, you know, we're going to have compassion for ourselves, we're going to have compassion for others, we're going to have compassion for, you know, it was very mindful that we are together. So I did enjoy that. Yeah. I thought that was a nice way to bring up the vibe and make everybody conscious that we're here for each other. We're here together. We're here doing the same thing. We're all healing on the same path. Breath work. Breath work is not just like laying down and breathing. Like
no, it's work.
It's work.
It's work. They call it breath work for a reason.
You have to push out your belly. You've got to, you know, inhale deep. You got to concentrate of where he wants you to kind of mentally bring that breath to.
Focus the breath. Focus the energy. Everything.
Very interesting.
It's great for people with racing thoughts and things like that because you don't have time to focus on that. You're focusing on doing all these other things, and you know, I think that's part of the goal of breath work. I think it's part of why it's very effective. Yeah, because it just, instead of fighting with your mind, you've got things to do.
I'm gonna say that I did have an experience of a specific breath when he started. He did kind of a scan your body type of thing and find where your tension is. And I identified that I did have tension in my shoulder, like right between my neck and my shoulder. And so he made a point that when you inhale towards that, you know, that part of you that's tense. So it's almost like you're thinking, like I'm taking in this breath and I'm directing it right to my shoulder. Right. So I, you know, did that. And this is now when you exhale, I want you to find the safe place in your body that you would consider your safe space. You know, for me, it's like my heart, my chest, you know, so I just kind of like put my hands there. And he goes, and now you're gonna, when you exhale, you're gonna push it towards your safe pace, your safe place. Right. And probably within the second time, by the third time, I didn't feel any pain of that I had in that shoulder, that tension. Yeah. It was interesting because it happened in real time. It wasn't something that got better later. It literally like took the pain and it went and got rid of it.
You relax and release it.
That was very intense because I'm like, wow, if our minds and our body can repair itself or make make certain things feel better, why aren't we using it more?
It's very interesting, and I've experienced in a lot of different ways, but body scans of that nature, a lot of times just tension and pressure are causing pain a lot of times. And just simply focusing on that body part, sometimes that's just enough to make it release. And I mean, a lot of people have very interesting ways to do it, and he certainly had a very unique one that I've not experienced before. Yeah. But it's amazing that all of them seem to have some effect. Some of them much better than others, but they all seem to have some effect of just simply thinking about a body part that's hurting.
That's amazing. So that was my physical experience. I want to go ahead and play a video about how he kind of addresses the emotional experience as well. And we did see this happen there with a few people that had emotions come out. So check this out.
That we have forgotten about, that we have denied, our inner child. The parts of ourselves that we learn are unacceptable, that is unlovable due to conditioning and society telling us that. But when we can connect to that part that we have deemed as unlovable and we show that part love, we can integrate it back in, bring it back into a place of wholeness. And you realize that you're already whole and complete.
When you realize that you're already whole and complete. It's amazing that some people were experiencing this and at a level that they were literally crying. They were literally sobbing.
And we're not talking quiet either. They were pretty loud about it, a number of them.
They were releasing something. They were identifying something that was hurting them. And this... But when we walked out of there, it was like everybody was feeling really good. So whatever they cried out, whatever they you know, they left it there. It's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like they actually found peace in there somewhere. Yeah. This was 3 hours of breath work.
Yeah, we got there at 11 and we left there at about 2 o'clock. And it was a very good meditation. It was very relaxing. Yeah. So, you know, I will say that for me, it was a little long because I hurt when I lay on the floor for a long time.
Being in a yoga mat.
You know, I had some difficulties there with the length of it, but it was a very great meditation. It was very relaxing. It was a very unique breath work,
Mhm.
the musical instruments and the way he was playing them. It was very, very unique.
Very
And, it's
talented.
definitely something worth experiencing. Um,
If anything, for your physical, I think it could help you with that. If you're
Yeah.
looking for mental or spiritual, you might tap into that as well. I don't know.
yeah, I didn't so much, but I seen a lot of people that were very obviously doing that.
Yeah.
So why that didn't click in for me at this particular event, I don't know. Maybe something's more aligned with me or resonates more with me elsewhere. But it was still something I felt it was very worth going, and it was a very enjoyable thing for me. And I saw people that I could tell were very, very, very connected to that technique, modality, or whichever the case may be, with the breath work, the music, the whole thing.
So for you, it was more of a meditation, relaxation. For me, I felt it was more like connecting with the vibe, connecting with the community.
There was definitely good vibes there. And we met some great people there. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't argue that either.
And that's just, it's just one of those things that we try. We don't go with an expectation, and then we just experience. And
Mhm.
that's our goal, is to open our minds and experience physical, mental, spiritual, whatever we can find, and have it speak to us. And
Yep.
this is definitely one of those. So if you want to catch them, for sure, you want to check them out. They are doing their North American tour, and his name again is Tim Morrison, and he is doing Spiritus, which is a very interesting, because if you look up the word Spiritus, it comes from the Latin word meaning breath or spirit, often used in spiritual context to indicate life force or energy that flows through living beings, which is pretty neat, which is a lot of what we did. But that's all I got for today. How about you?
I think that's it for me. You guys have a great evening, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.